us girls really enjoy that. It can make you feel better when you go and you buy a new dress. But I mean, how many of you know where these clothes come from? No, not really? Okay, so I understand that as college students, one of our priorities is saving money. You know, we're trying to pay for school and get by. So we tend to go to stores like H&M and Walmart because, you know, we're trying to save a couple of bucks. So today, I actually want to take all of you behind the scenes of what is the garment industry. It's one of the biggest industries in the world, and I want to inform you guys about what goes on in that industry. So with that being said, today I'm going to tell you who the people are that make our clothes, where they work, and an event that can represent what really happens in the garment industry. So, who are the people that make our clothes? So most garment workers are uneducated, young people. You know, they don't have an education and they live in rural villages. So they leave their home to come to the big cities with clothing factories in order to support their families back home. Shima Akhtar is a 20-year-old garment worker in Bangladesh. She works in the capital, Dhaka, and in the documentary film The True Cost, by director Andrew Morgan, Shima's story is told. She leaves her family and a daughter behind in order to go to Dhaka, the capital, and she's just trying to support her family back home. So this right here is Shima, and that's her daughter, and she has to travel hours, and she gets to see her rarely. Also, women make up the majority of the garment industry laborers. According to the Women Working Organization publication titled Garment Industry Supply Chains, women make up about 75% of the garment workers worldwide. And as you can see right here, this is a clothing factory in Bangladesh, and most of the workers here are women, young women. So now that you guys have an idea of who the people are that make our clothes, let's talk about where they work. So the working conditions for garment workers are very poor because most of these workers are in developing countries. The conditions in many factories are hazardous. An article published by The Guardian, written by Alan Roberts, stated that more than 80,000 safety issues were identified in factories in Bangladesh. These included no emergency exits, lack of fire alarms, and just overall structural issues with the buildings. And as you can see here, this is like exposed wires, and there's really just disregard for safety in many of these factories. Here you can see this is a factory, and they're in like a small room, no exits, there's just a small window, and if something were to happen, they have nowhere to escape through. Photographer Claudio Montesano Casillas decided to go inside some of these sweatshops in Bangladesh, and here he found that most factories are at a risk of fire accidents due to poor wiring and lack of electrical safety and awareness. So this is actually a picture that he took at one of the factories. So now that I've talked about some of the conditions that these workers face, I'm going to talk to you about an event that represents what the garment industry is really like. So that is the collapse of Rana Plaza. This was an accident that shed light on the dark side of the garment industry, and it was this accident right here. On the Institute for Global Labor and Human Rights website, an article titled Factory Collapse in Bangladesh. The collapse of Rana Plaza was the deadliest disaster in garment industry history to this day. The same article tells a story that took place on April 24th, 2013, which was only 3 years ago, as follows. So the morning of the disaster, 3,639 workers were reluctant to enter the building because they were afraid for their safety because of huge cracks on the walls inside the building. However, the owner of Rana Plaza paid gang members to beat them up and forced them to enter the building at 8 a.m. for work that day. at around 8:45 a.m., 45 minutes later, the power shut down in the building, and just moments later, the workers felt the building collapse beneath their feet. The aftermath was 1,137 confirmed dead, most of which were young women. As you can see here, days later, they kept finding bodies, and to this day, there's over 100 missing people. So now that I've informed you about one of the most tragic events in the garment industry history, I'll conclude with go on to my conclusion. So now that you're aware of who make your clothes, where they work, and the tragic event that gave us a glimpse of what the garment industry is like, I really hope that every person here has learned some valuable information. I think that as consumers, we're responsible for sharing this information with others, and I think that awareness can bring about change. So I know America is one of the biggest clothing consumers. I feel like if you guys share this information, then maybe one day this will bring about change for all the workers that have lost their lives or have to put up with these conditions to make the clothes on everyone's back.